Hey everybody, and welcome to Leia's Lair. Here's our discussion and review of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. So just forewarning everyone, this discussion contains many spoilers from the movie, so if you don't want to know anything, you've now been warned. Otherwise, enjoy. Alright, well let's just get into this right from the beginning. So I think the first major thing that we see is the return of Palpatine.
That's like one of the first scenes of the movie. Like they get you right into it. Like there's no like, hey, do you think Palpatine? Like, do we have a sneaking suspicion he returns? Like, nope, he's there.
He's absolutely there, and he's looking real rough.
Yeah, age has not been kind to Palpatine.
No, but I think he said that he did die and come back. So
yeah, and he's hooked up to that. He's hooked up to like a machine that's, I'm assuming, keeping him alive.
Yeah.
We see kind of like some canisters and stuff like that with all these like bodies and stuff. So it sounds like he's just being kept alive by stuff, by like Sith beings, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. So in his time between episode 6 and now, he's been up to no good, creating a massive starship fleet.
Yeah.
Called the Final Order.
Yeah. So I mean, that kind of pieces it together. We had the First Order, which you're kind of like, why is it called the First Order? And then he has this Final Order.
Yeah.
So just skip right to the final one. Just one and final.
Yeah. And then we see Kylo Ren pay him a visit.
He basically says, I'm going to kill you right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, he's like, oh, I have this huge fleet for you, though. You can be the new emperor.
Mm-hmm. So they start scheming.
So yeah, he lures him in, you know, just as with the thought of him becoming the new Darth Vader, basically become what your grandfather like
couldn't have been, or never was, or whatever.
Never succeeded with. So
we also realize that they're on a secret Sith planet called Exegol.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. That could only be located through Sith. What were they called? Sith Wayfinders?
Yeah. So the Sith Wayfinders. They kind of look like these holocrons. We see him right off the bat with Kylo Ren accessing it, and that's how he finds it. Only 2 in existence, we find out.
Yeah. I honestly thought it was a Sith holocron.
Yeah. Well, it kind of pretty much looks like a Sith holocron, and not that we see them in any holocrons really in the movies, but that's the closest we'll get, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess moving forward after that.
We see Rey training. She seems to be a lot more adept with the Force.
Yeah. We get to see her training. Leia's training her.
Yeah. So it seems that like she's
telling her, you know, go do the Jedi loop again.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes and does her training again.
So then we see Rey. We see Rey using a lot of Force powers in this movie, which is pretty cool. She seems to have really grown since episode 8. The most exciting one we see her use, I think personally, was when she used Force Lightning.
Yeah, Force Lightning. She uses Force Heal a couple times, which we just saw in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I was like, I wonder why.
Yeah.
It's like, we're getting too much Force Heal these days, which is really cool. We haven't seen that in any movies, and I guess now we've seen it twice in the last 2 days. So that's cool. But yeah, like her and Kylo are just fighting over that Star Cruiser that's supposed to be carrying Chewbacca, and she just gets pushed to the point where she uses Force Lightning without even meaning to. Yeah,
that was crazy. I mean, I already thought it was pretty wild that she could like move the ship with the Force, and then out of nowhere comes Force Lightning. I was like, holy! But I mean, if that's not foreshadowing, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, that was definitely a shocking moment, but very cool. I was like, damn. I was like, yo, doesn't even know how to use Force Lightning, but she's tapping into those dark side of powers.
Totally.
But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about what happens with that. So, you know, the audience, we feel, oh my God. And even with Rey, she's like, oh my God, I just killed Chewie.
Oh God, that was so sad. Like, but I was like, nah, there's no way he just died like
and like
that.
You know what? I was kind of like, man, is this how this episode's gonna be? Is this how they're gonna do it?
Just kill off everyone.
You know, I'm like, is this the start of it? It seemed a little off. Like I was like, yeah, I don't think they would kill off Chewie like that. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I don't know.
See, I kind
I
of
don't
didn't
trust
think
him.
I didn't think that he was gonna be dead because I remember seeing in one of the trailers him and Lando flying together. And I hadn't seen him and Lando
yeah.
fly together yet, so I was like, "There's no way in hell that Chewie can be dead."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's smart. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of Lando, he makes a return.
He's out at the Burning Man Festival. Star Wars Burning Man Festival only happens every 42 years. We get to see Lando, which is great nostalgia.
And he ends up playing quite a large part in the movie. I thought maybe he was gonna just kind of be like a small cameo, but
I also thought he was gonna die. So that's also another good thing. Lando doesn't die in this one. So everyone's like, Lando, you're next. We know it.
Right.
But he doesn't, and that's good. Because Lando was one of my favorite characters, so.
And, like, let's be honest, he becomes, like, one of the saving graces of the entire...
Yeah, he comes in with his...
resistance.
He's able to rally up all the people.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
C-3PO I also thought was going to die, based just on those ads where he's like, I'm saying goodbye to all of my friends, or taking a look at all of my friends.
Yeah.
And I was this is the end. Yeah. It's over, but again.
Yeah, I feel like they really do that with these trailers. They try to make you think one thing, like, and then completely, like, yeah. So anyways, that's just C-3PO's memory was wiped. And then R2 just restores it anyways.
Yeah.
So
no harm, no foul.
Yeah, no harm, no foul. So C-3PO doesn't die, also good. Chewbacca doesn't die, also good. Lando doesn't die. But let's talk about people who do die. So we also find out that the reason why that they need this Wayfinder to get to this Exegol is because of a spy of the First Order. And who is it? Can anyone guess? Any takers? No? It's Admiral Hux.
Man, oh man, I got such Rebel vibes from that. As soon as he said, I'm the spy, I was like, this is literally Rebels. But of course in Rebels, like, the guy lives to tell the tale, whereas Admiral Hux is ousted as the spy real quick.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? In the first two movies, I absolutely did not like Hux. And then he finally is like cool, and I'm like, yes, I like this guy now. You know, shoot me in the leg, shoot me in the arm, whatever, make them think I'm not a spy. And then the guy just shoots him anyways. I was like, well, goodbye, Hux.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like, that one definitely surprised me, but when thinking back on it, like, he hated Kylo Ren, and he literally said the only reason he's the spy is because he wants Kylo Ren to, like, be defeated.
Yeah. I like how he's doing it out of just pure spite.
Yeah,
he's just
100%.
He's just like, you know what, he's like, I love First Order, I want them to succeed, but not with Kylo. Like, you know, he just wants to be Kylo, I think.
Totally.
He thinks he deserves that spot, and he's not in it, so...
But on to probably, like, the biggest... spoiler of them all. Turns out that Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine.
Yeah. No, that was I don't know. Was that a shock for you?
Like, it was, well, the foreshadowing of a Force lightning really, like, would put, like, solidified in my mind that was gonna maybe be a thing. And, like, I had heard some things around the internet, you know, that this might be a thing. So when I saw that Force lightning, I was like, all right, this is happening. And then it definitely happened.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I was kind of like, as soon as, like you said, the lightning kind of gave me a hint. I was like, like, especially after Palpatine mentions to Kylo in the beginning, he's like, you know, Rey isn't who you think she is. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I mean, like leading up to it, I was like, okay, I think it's gonna be Palpatine. It was funny. Again, a guy in the theater next to us was basically just like, no way, like completely caught off guard. I was like, come on, buddy, like, come on, like Force lightning, fucking Palpatine, come on.
Who's the only other one who uses Force lightning? Come on.
So yeah, with that, we get to see, as soon as she finds that out, there's like this inner conflict with her. You know, she's unsure of herself. I think she's scared that she finds out that she is a Palpatine. She's not hearing any Jedi voices, so she doesn't feel like she's a Jedi.
She's got Kylo Ren encouraging her.
She's got all these bad influence, you know, peer pressure.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's just like, Palpatine is Palpatine. Like, he's such a prominent figure in the galaxy, and he's such a bad person that, like, how can you not feel like burdened by
you're like,
that kind of news, I guess.
Yeah, like Kylo, on the other hand, you know, he embraced it. He's like, yo, my grandfather's Darth Vader. Hook me up with that. I'm going to make a cool mask as well. Whereas Rey, she finds that out and she's just like devastated by that. So we get that the different parallels constantly with between Rey and Kylo, and they're linked together, and that happens throughout the movie, which is kind of cool. We get to see them always interacting. He doesn't know where she is.
They can like pass things through the Force.
Yeah, that's.
Though back to the Rey Palpatine granddaughter thing, it's also interesting that he saw her as a threat from the get-go, and he killed her parents and tried to kill her, and her parents are actually leaving, like, was what saved her.
Yeah. What I want to know is, like, when did Palpatine get it on? You know, like, when did he have this?
Who's her mother then?
You know, like, who?
Or is this like immaculate Force?
Yo, did he just like conceive his son like through the Force, like Anakin style?
Yeah, who knows?
Like, I don't know. I'm interested. Yo, episode 10, cover this. No, just kidding. Yeah, I want to know more on that and why his son wasn't evil. You know? Like, was he just like, nah, Dad, I'm going in a different direction. I actually want to become a Jedi.
Like, was his dad even Force sensitive? Like, they never say anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, in the scenes that they show, it's like, yeah, he doesn't look like it. He gets stabbed with a dagger.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, if he has no training and he's not really aware of it, then maybe he just like was surprised and couldn't defend himself. But it's just interesting that that it just completely skipped the generation.
Yeah.
And then went right down to Rey.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder. It's because it's like, I don't know if he saw her as a threat. It makes you think that, but at the same time, it kind of makes you think like maybe he was trying to get her to him so that he could like train her in the ways of the dark side. And
well, that's what ends up happening in the end, right? Is that he wants her to strike him down so she can become the new Empress.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes it seem at the beginning that he wanted to kill her.
Yeah, like he's just trying to get rid of any threats.
That's why her parents protected her.
Yeah. So yeah, with her being a Palpatine, you know, they have to go find the Sith Wayfinder, which is located in none other than the Death Star ruins on Endor.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought? So during that time, she goes in there. She actually enters a room, and that's when she has kind of like the cave.
Yeah,
from
totally.
Episode 5, and it's kind of like that's when we see, you know, from the trailer, Rey's with her red lightsabers. So, you know, she doesn't go to the dark side, obviously, but yeah. And then as soon as she comes out of that room, you know, Kylo's waiting there, and they have their battle on the Death Star, which is cool. He crushes the Wayfinder, so he's like, this is the only way there. They fight, and Leia is the one who she does her Force projection to tell Ben, you know, like, hey, I think all she says is Ben, actually. And he stops, and that's when Rey slices him.
Yeah, but this was right before. This was after he had overpowered her. It was looked like she was done for, and then Leia Force projects into him and says like Ben or something, and then he like has a change of heart, or he's like stunned by it, and then Rey.
Yeah, puts a saber through him.
Puts a saber through him, but then with that, Leia dies.
Yeah, that's
and with her death, Rey can feel that, and she's absolutely like shocked by it, saddened, and then she, instead of finishing Kylo like she could have, she ends up force healing him.
Yeah, and so that was an emotional scene there, because I think that's the turning point. She just leaves in his ship, and she's just like out of there. And then Ben has his whole like revelation, like he doesn't know what to do.
Han Solo cameo.
Yeah, Han Solo cameo. That was very cool. Mm-hmm. When I heard the word kid, I automatically thought it was like no, I didn't think it was Han Solo. I actually thought it was Luke Skywalker, because when he's like, see you around, kid, like he says that to Ben or Kylo at that point in The Last Jedi.
But isn't that something that like Han Solo says in the earlier ones?
I think so too, but that's the thing is like when I heard kid, I was like Luke, because I was like Han Solo's not a Force ghost, but it's just this is actually just Ben's like memory. And it's kind of cool because you get to see him play out the scenario of Episode 7 again, where he's contemplating on whether he should, you know, change back to the light. And he's like, and Han Solo's encouraging him, and this time he does it. He throws his lightsaber into the
God, water. I hate that stupid lightsaber. Get rid of it.
I mean, it was a pretty dope lightsaber, but you know, that's just him switching sides. So we get to see his kind of like his change of heart. You know, he's like, you know, my mom just talked to me. My dad's encouraging me. He knows like,
I'm Ben Solo. I'm not Kylo Ren.
he knows he can be redeemed.
Yeah.
So
that was awesome. I was very happy with that.
Very powerful moment. You know, and with that, you know, Leia force projecting, and all that, we know that she had Jedi training.
Yeah, well, after that, Rey also goes back to Octo. Was that the planet's name? Where she was with Luke in episode 8.
Yeah. And
he gives her Leia's lightsaber. Like, Leia had a lightsaber. Can we just wrap our head around that for a second? That's dope. Yeah. And that it turns out the two of them trained together.
That was really cool. And it was a blue lightsaber. Very cool.
It was blue, yeah.
So,
we had a flashback to them when they were young.
Yeah, training.
Which was really cool.
And she actually, like, kicked Luke's ass. So, you know, she could have been a more powerful Jedi, and she sensed that she needed to hold off, right?
Yeah, because I think they said in the end if she had trained as a Jedi, then her son would have died.
Yeah.
So she stopped. But, I mean, it was nice because it kind of came full circle from what Yoda says in, was that episode 6? About there's, like, another.
Yeah.
And then you never really hear anything about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Luke tells her in episode 6, so we know that's the other, but
but we don't never actually see it come to fruition.
Yeah. We see her do some Force stuff in episode 8, pulling herself out of the ship or whatever, but or pulling herself back into the ship, but we never get a concrete answer like, did she have a lightsaber? Did she train as a Jedi? Like, all these things.
We see her use the Force and whatnot, but we never see it.
Yeah, and so that gives us more insight into her training, Rey. Why she's able to do all these new Force powers like Force Heal and, well, she didn't learn Force Lightning, I'm assuming, from her, but, you know. So, yeah, back on Octo, the reason why she's there is she's trying to hide herself from Palpatine. She doesn't trust herself. And then Luke shows up, grabs her lightsaber, she's trying to throw it away. And
his lightsaber?
Well, his dad's lightsaber, which is now her lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then and that's how he's able to show her, you know, Leia's lightsaber and says, take this. You're gonna need this later. And she destroyed Kylo's ship on the planet, so she's like, how can I even get out of here? And that's when this was a very powerful scene. Same music, same everything. Luke lifts his X-Wing out of the swamp waters on Ecto.
I mean, it was the ocean on it, but, you know, I got what you're alluding to.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, something that was impossible, as he says. He's able to do that, even as a Force Ghost, which is very cool. And he's also able to grab his saber, or grab his dad's saber with his own bare hands.
Yep.
So very powerful Force Ghost. Very cool cameo.
Speaking of sabers, I thought it was a nice moment at the very end when Rey buries the two sabers on Tatooine at the moisture farm.
Yeah. Trying to like bring it full circle. And then, you know, that lady comes up. Oh, who are you? I'm Rey. Oh, what's your last name, Rey? Of course, she has to look. There's Leia and Luke Force Ghosts just chilling. And she says, you know, Rey Skywalker. So it was a kind of nice ending there.
Yeah.
Like,
just bringing it all full circle for sure. And just like that kind of gives meaning now to the actual title of the movie, The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. Because, I mean, after Ben Solo becomes one with the Force, you're kind of like, how is that the Rise of Skywalker then?
Yeah, there's no Skywalkers. Obviously, she doesn't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm Palpatine.
Yeah.
She'd be like, oh my God, he's horrible. What are you doing here?
Totally. But with that, we get to see her new lightsaber crafted out of her staff, it looks like.
Yeah.
And it's yellow, which was pretty cool because we've never seen
we've never seen yellow in the movies. So
no, and I thought yellow was like pretty much only for Jedi Temple guards, but apparently not anymore.
Yeah, well, maybe she's guarding the temple now.
Yeah, maybe. I guess she is guarding the Jedi, like sacred text. So maybe that is what it's kind of alluding to, is why she had yellow. That's kind of cool. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, no, that was very cool that it showed yellow. But But we can rewind for a second too. Let's go back to the ending. With Palpatine. They're in the Exegol, and Palpatine's there. He takes some of their life force, so he's back. He's all good. Ben tries to get up, can't. He throws him in the ditch. Eventually, Rey gets up and is able to take both the sabers and push back the Force lightning, which kills Palpatine. All in all, the scene was okay. I don't know.
Then she dies or almost dies, and who comes to save her? None other than Ben Solo, who force heals her using all his force essence, I guess.
Yeah.
And just when she comes back alive, they have just enough time to share a kiss before he becomes one with the Force.
Yeah. So Reylo happened, guys. Reylo happened. All you Reylo lovers can
and
rejoice.
here I thought that was going to be the rise of Skywalker. Little baby Skywalkers running around.
Can you imagine? Just flash forwards. But you know what I was thinking as this was happening? I was like, this is going to be very awkward when Rey comes back to the fleet and she's like, oh,
here's Kylo.
No, here's
here's
my new boyfriend. Oh, sorry. What's his name? Oh, Ben. Okay, cool. I've never heard of him. You know what I mean?
Totally.
That's going to be a very awkward moment. So yeah, I was like, something he's got to pass away, and of course that's what happens. I was like, okay, sure enough, that's just he's probably like, you know what, it's gonna be too awkward. I'm just gonna become one with the Force. Yeah. Goodbye. So yeah, they saved the day. They had their celebration. Yeah, I don't know. What were your thoughts on the entire movie?
On the movie as a whole, I enjoyed it. I found it was pretty busy. There was a lot going on all the time. There was no rest. It was just
one place after the next,
after another. So I thought honestly it probably could have been spaced out a bit better throughout the trilogy. I mean, I enjoyed the movie itself. It brought everything full circle. What about you?
Yeah, I also thought it was kind of more of a rushed pace. I mean, my favorite movies are always going to be the original trilogy, and the pace of that, like in the first Star Wars, Luke's just cleaning the droids, and this one is you wouldn't even have time for anything. They don't even have time to sit down, you know what I mean? So very, very, there's a lot in here, and I feel like they were kind of trying to make up for some of the story that they didn't get to put into the first two. So I mean, I liked it. I'm not gonna say it wasn't a good movie, but the sequel trilogy for me all the movies are below the original 6.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
I did like that they threw it back and they really touched into some of the original trilogy and even the prequel. They had the cameo of Wedge, which was pretty cool. Yeah. And then they had all the Force ghosts talking to Rey, which was pretty cool.
So she can finally hear all the Jedi, and you get to hear you hear Anakin, you hear Mace Windu, you hear Yoda, you hear Ben, you hear all these
Ahsoka.
Yeah, you hear all these Jedi from the past that are giving her that strength. That was it. So that was really cool. I mean, we didn't get to see, it would be nicer to have seen the Force Ghost versions of them. Yeah. But beggars can't be choosers. So that was cool. That was cool enough as it was. So yeah, I liked it. It was good. I'm not gonna say it was the best, but I'm not gonna say it was horrible. So
no, it was enjoyable, and you know what? They had a lot of work to do, I think, after The Last Jedi to try and tie up some of the knots that had been open, and I think they tied it up
AKA, your parents are no one. And by no one, we mean they wanted to be no one, and now you're Palpatine. Yeah, I get it. They're trying to kind of fix, I think, some of the fans' backlash. Maybe. So yeah, I think they did an okay job. Great movie. I don't know.
Okay. And there you have it. Thanks for watching, everyone. What did you think of The Rise of Skywalker? Let us know down below in the comment section. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more great videos to come. I hope to see you all again in Leia's Lair.